The internet is like all over him being the one to initiate Jake in Jake's first MMA fight and Jake Paul's first MMA fight. I think that would be the biggest jokes ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locked Door MMA. We're your hosts. I'm Brevin. This is my good buddy, JP. And in this episode, we will be giving you guys a recap of UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. But before we do, we just want to shout out all of you as our viewers and our current subscribers. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any of our predictions every single week. This week, I went, 8-6?
8-5, I think.
8-5. 8-5. JP went 7-6.
Yeah, we can just get past it. It's fine. I lost the wars, whatever.
JP lost the pick wars, but it's okay. He's hoping to bounce back this week, and I think he will. But in this video, we're going to break down every single fight from the fight night. JP, kick us off with the first fight of the night.
Yeah, man, it was a pretty decent one. Pretty decently entertaining Abu Dhabi card, so it started early. Yeah, shout out to everybody real quick. We wanted to get past 50 subs this weekend, and we did do it. So thank you guys. We appreciate that. And it's only upwards from here, baby. But yeah, starting with the first fight, Dumas to Tulen. Dumas got the dub. Kind of a little sweated out a little bit in this one.
A little bit. Dumas didn't look great. I thought he'd look a little bit better on his feet. Kind of looked gassed. Tulen was just kind of marched forward, even though he was not doing anything. But anytime a guy starts to waver on their feet and their stamina starts to go, you get a little worried. So that was something that had me a little nervous to kick off that card.
Yeah, he ate a big knee to start the fight, and then in that takedown, he tried to take him down, and Dennis stuffed it really well, and then kind of reversed him through his hips under it, and got a good reversal. So I was real worried to start the fight. I was like, "There's no way we're gonna start off like this." Dude gets clipped with a knee and put out, but Dumas recovered pretty well. Went on to get the dub. Yeah, he didn't look too great, but Tulen, I mean, now 11-10, cheeks.
Yeah, you got to start to wonder if is his time going to come that he gets cut from the UFC. I mean, this would be the time to do it. Who knows?
100%.
He doesn't do anything great for the UFC. So we'll see. Next fight on the card, we had Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya. JP took Bedoya. What were your thoughts on that fight?
Bedoya looked like shit was my thoughts. This was the first leg of the Juicer dog parlay. Psych. Plot twist. Spoiler warning. None of the legs of the Juicer for the dog parlay hit at all. All of them were losses. But that's all right because the other parlay hit. But Bedoya looked like trash, man. I don't know. His frame looked better than it normally does. Fighting at 170, he was a little pudgy. But, I mean, Herbert's got a great jab. That jab's fast. Bedoya would walk into it quite literally, so it's not hard to land when Bedoya's coming forward meeting it. Yeah, Bedoya didn't look too good. He looked gassed in the later rounds. Herbert just looked stronger. Stand-up was better. Bedoya trains with the Shoot the Box team with Diego Lima and shit, and I like that team a lot. That and the Fighting Nerds that Jean Silva's out of and stuff. Those are both good teams to train out of, but I thought Bedoya would put up a better showing. He didn't. Looked pretty bad, but good win for Herbert.
Yeah, Bedoya moving down a weight division in this fight. Bedoya certainly looked the part as well, where his strikes landed a little bit heavier than Herbert's did, but Jai was just quick. He was fast to the punch. I knew he had the good jab. I was telling you guys on the breakdown video, he's going to use that jab to be successful, especially because Bedoya likes to stay at range, and that was the story of the fight. Right. Herbert kind of had his way on the outside, outstruck him, and then ultimately got the unanimous decision victory. That's a good win for the Black Country Banger. We'll see if he can keep that up moving forward. He's kind of one of those fighters that has a special like niche, if you will. Like he beats guys that fight a certain style, but
Yeah.
against many other styles, I think he kind of is always a risk to take. But in that one, I mean, good matchup for Herbert.
Yeah, 100%. Bedoya is just, I don't know, man. I feel like Bedoya is just kind of mid-tier at this point. Like, Herbert could be too, but Herbert's at least better than Bedoya. I don't know. Moving on, this one was Extremely irritating to watch. Dudakova, Sam Hughes.
Yeah, JP and I both took Dudakova in this one. She was the better wrestler. But once again, the gas tank kind of came into play, and anytime that happens, it really can go either way. Sam Hughes held her own on the ground whenever she was taken down. She was able to get back up, and then ultimately Dudakova kind of just never had anything, couldn't get anything going. It was out of breath. You could see these wild takedown attempts and kind of the last ditch effort. So it was not a great look on Dudakova's part, and she still almost got the decision victory. I think it possibly could have swung in her way. However, split decision loss for her to lose her undefeated record to a girl like Sam Hughes. Not the best look, honestly. So she'll kind of need some major improvements to come back and make her mark in that division. I think if she's gonna continue to move up the ranks, I don't know if she will or if that's kind of like the level that she's gonna stay at now.
I mean, honestly, if you're the better wrestler and you're gas coming out at the start of round two, you might be. I mean, that I just don't get it personally. That's what irritated about me is you're the better wrestler. If it's a 5 round fight and you're starting round four and you're gassed, okay, that's fine. You've been fighting for 15 minutes already. After the first round, you're tired. And Sam Hughes is not good, but she fraud checked Dudakova. I guess Dudakova's. Oh my god, I'm gonna have a hard time putting money on her because holy shit, she looked
Yeah,
like ass.
100%. 100%. Not a good look on her. But what do we do? We were kind of forced. Our hand was a little bit forced there with Dudakova being undefeated and having showing these flashes of strong wrestling. It just wasn't her night, or her morning, should we say, on Saturday. So it is what it is. Next fight, though, pretty good fight here. Guram Kutateladze versus Jordan Vucenic. Guram winning by unanimous decision.
I'm gonna pull up the. Does Topology have the fight like the numbers? No,
Numbers, I no.
it doesn't. Okay, I picked Vucenic by sub, which was one of the only the only props I picked for this card because I said everything other by decision, which there was like 9 decisions, but Vucenic I think looked phenomenal in my eyes. Okay, first of all, the fight before this, I think he fought like 2 weeks before this, and that was on short notice too. I didn't realize, and then this fight was on short notice as well. So I'd love to see Vucenic in a full camp. He looked great in the first round, dropped Guram. I thought the fight was close. I thought it was competitive. I do not believe it should have been unanimous. Personally, probably biased towards Vucenic. I don't think it should have been unanimous. I mean, good win for Guram. He hung in there. He recovered well after getting clipped. Vucenic, I like a lot. I want to see more of him. His stand up looked great. He's good on the ground. I think Vucenic's upside and his talent. I think he's got a lot to give the UFC, and I think he'll be a staple coming forward. I want to see him in a full fight camp. Give him somebody unranked, let him walk him through, and then give him somebody big. But yeah, I don't know. Guram, it's a good fight, I guess. Good win. Should have been split though.
Yeah, I have the totals here. Guram landed 87 total strikes. Vucenic landed 81. Vucenic did land the more significant strikes with four more significant strikes.
And he got a
Vucenic did go.
knockdown.
He did get knocked down in the first round. I definitely think he won the first round, but he went over 5 with his takedowns. Kutateladze was able to secure one takedown, so there was some control time. I know he had the back at the end of round 3. It was a close fight. It was. I just don't think Vucenic did enough in rounds 2 and 3 to sway the judges. But like to JP's point, I think let's give him some fights to build him up inside of the UFC and then let him kind of work on those skills that he needs to improve upon to be a contender in the division because feeding him to a guy like Guram, I'm not going to say he's a gatekeeper. He's not a gatekeeper of the top 15 or anything of that nature. He's probably a gatekeeper of some of these young prospects, which I mean, some could say it's good for these guys to have a fight like Guram early on in their careers, but others could say, why not let them just kind of have some of these easy fights early on just to build that confidence and really kind of cue themselves up inside the division. I don't know. I mean, that's up to the matchmakers and not JP and I, right?
It should be up to us. I think we do a better job.
I agree. I agree. All right. Next fight on this card, I'm gonna have to swallow some pride here. Shamil Gaziev versus Dontel Mays. Gaziev won via unanimous decision.
Um, yeah, this fight went exactly how I thought it would go. It's two fat boys laying on each other. Dantel's not good. Let's not get it twisted here. Gaziev is not good at all. Okay, this doesn't mean because he's 13-1 now. Oh my God, go hammer him every time he fights. No, if Gaziev goes to the upper tier of this division, he's getting clipped. He's getting put out. He'll quit on the stool again like he did against Rosenstruik. He's not that good. Mays is worse. These big heavyweights, they have a tendency to clash. That's why I call them two grizzly bears fighting over a salmon, dude. Is because they will literally just step forward to throw and then meet each other in the middle, and their fats just slapping everywhere. And I don't know. Mays isn't good. Gaziev got takedowns laid on him. I mean, what else do we expect to happen? Mays isn't going to knock him out. Mays is 11-7 now. Yeah.
Yeah, not a good look for Mace. He definitely came into this fight out of shape. I was giving Gaziev a very hard time going into it with his conditioning and cardio. Mays was the more tired fighter. And so when I saw that body language, I was like, yeah, this is wraps. I mean, there's no chance if you're the one that's getting outworked by Gaziev, someone who gasses quickly, it's GG's. I mean, the wrestling was there for Gaziev. Dontel Mays, he was a lot less active when he got taken down than I thought he would be, and that he's shown in previous fights and didn't strike very well. And like JP said, it's kind of like two sumo wrestlers just meeting in the middle of the circle, just hitting bellies. It's boring to watch, honestly. And yeah, at some point, Gaziev's going to get freaking starched. He's going to
Yeah.
get starched by someone. So keep an eye out for that. Stay away from Gaziev moving forward. But I mean, if he's going up against a guy that has no wrestling and gasses like Mace, I mean, yeah, maybe you can throw some more money on that.
Yeah, some of these heavyweight fights, like this guy, Boudet, I mean, they'll beat people who can't wrestle and who suck at stand up, who are slow. But I mean, the top tier. You think Gaziev's beating Tom Aspinall? No. I don't think he gets out 45 seconds out of round one with Tom Aspinall. So, yeah, cheeks. But we got Gaziev to go. Next one, Cowboy Fernandez, Mohamed Yahya.
Yeah, this was pretty terrible on my end as well. I thought maybe the hometown guy and Yahya would have some juice going into it. Thought maybe he'd get some reactions out of the crowd when he landed. Well, the problem was he never landed. All right. The guy striking looked pretty piss poor. Fernandez looked very strong. He had a very solid base and he was very quick to the punch. Ultimately, putting Yahya away via TKO in the first round wasn't even close. I kind of jumped the gun thinking that something different was going to happen. No, I should have understood that Fernandez was going to come out there and did what he does every single fight, and Yahya just really didn't look the part. So disappointing loss for me, but good call on JP's part.
Yahya did land, and he landed hard, right on the back of his head, on the canvas, slumped. See ya. Good night. Okay. Good night, Abu Dhabi. His leg, his calf. If you do not believe in leg kicks or calf kicks, this fight tells you everything you need to know, dude. His leg was destroyed, and then he ate two big ones off the temple. Cowboy looked good. He's fast. Yahya, I don't know, man. I don't know where he goes from here. I don't think he's that good.
Nope.
I mean, Cowboy looked good. You got to address leg kicks. You got to check him or you got to get out of the way. Do something because you can't eat him. Connor
Yep.
showed you
I
that. Yahya showed you that. It's crazy.
I I think Yahya just stays fighting out of Abu Dhabi against guys that maybe it's their first fight in the UFC.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the only place I could see him being inside that division. He doesn't look very skilled at all, to be
at all.
honest. I mean, that may have been his last fight inside the UFC. I don't know if he has any fights left on his contract or not. But I mean, hey, maybe there's a void in that contract because he looked like trash.
Oh, man.
Next fight, we had Ozmat Murzakanov versus Alonzo Menifield.
Yeah, Hazmat, Amzat, Hamzat, Jesus Christ. Yeah, this one was great. Huge prop hit here. I think of the video. I said by decision, or did I say by KO?
You said by decision, but then you said you'll keep an eye out for that KO prop, see what it
Yeah.
comes in at, and sprinkle on that.
So the KO prop came in at plus money. I hammered it. Boom, got it to go in the third round. Menifield was getting eaten up the whole time. After the first round, his eye was welted up. I think his lip was cut. Menifield's IQ. I think he's stupid. I get the whole shell that you're fighting in. I get it, but at this weight class, anything from this weight class and above, if you're just gonna stand there in a shell and go forward and backwards with absolutely zero head movement, these big boys will put one on you, shell or no shell. You have to move your head. You have to parry. You got to do something. Menifield doesn't, and he tries to eat him. He's a big, strong guy, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Break his knuckles with your face? Cool, buddy. I don't know. Azamat looked great, 14-0. Smooth for his size. Pretty smooth striking. Pretty good looking stand up. He throws knees in there a lot. I was worried he was gonna gas himself for a second there in the second round, trying to get him out, but yeah, huge KO prop there. I forget what my record was at this point, but the KO prop really got me going, really got me juiced. So, good win.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if Menifield, if he thinks he has boxing gloves on or something, but that shell's not going to work. Like JP said, one of those big strikes, all it takes is one, right? So over the right hand, on the ear, on the temple, and all of a sudden you've lost your balance. You've lost, your awareness and everything that comes with that. Just because you're shelled up, you're not firing back when you should be, and you're not moving your head off that center line. And Ozma really showed that what his powers capable of moving forward. So I'll be very excited to see him continue to work his way up the division. I made a last second switch to Ozma. I was able to watch more film. I understood the left hand was going to come in against Menifield. So originally I called Menifield, but I quickly was like, no, it's going to be Ozmat's show on Saturday. Had JP cut the clip, posted it, and pinned the comment in the YouTube channel and on the video that I was picking Ozmat because this one was not going to be close. I should have hammered the KO prop as well. But definitely thought that Ozmat was going to get it done. Good to see him actually be able to go out and do that, though. That's really going to boost him up the rankings for sure.
Yeah, because after that second round, he almost gasses out. You might think like going into the third round, he
Yep.
might not get him out and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it was good. It was a good win. This next one was I don't want to say heartbreak, just annoyance for me. I another one that I just oh man. Joel Alvarez, Elves Brener. How'd you feel?
Yeah, I felt great. I picked Joel Alvarez, as you guys know that watched the episode. And he looked the part. He almost was going to be my lock of the night. The guy's got submissions, he's got good striking, and he's very, very long. He's rangy. Brenner couldn't find his range. He couldn't get inside of the strikes, and he just ate punches over and over and over. And honestly, if you go back and watch Brenner versus Kutateladze, you would have seen the same thing as well. However, Alvarez is a lot more technical in the striking. He was a lot more patient, and he never gassed. So I didn't really feel the pressure that Brener was going to put on Alvarez at any point during that fight. Alvarez seemed very calm, and he was able to get it done pretty easily. Ultimately getting the TKO in round 3, even though he had a very nice Darce. I believe in round 2, that was pretty dang tight. I thought he was going to get the submission there as well. So I mean, props to Brener for hanging in that long.
Yeah, this is not like a fight where I'm like upset at the fighter because they fought like shit. I'm upset with the pick because Alvarez. I preach so much about these strikers when you get somebody hurt. What is your composure to put that person away? Alvarez can do it anyway. Sub KO. I mean, we talked about it in the video how they both have a lot of sub wins, so it's going to be on the feet. If you get clipped by Alvarez, you're probably going to sleep. It's tough to get away from him once he knows you're hurt. He's got a good finishing ability. Um, Brener, I mean, you shell up and then you go into the clinch. I get that you're tired, but you're standing there with your arms up, not even trying to fight the clinch, and you're eating like 8 knees in a row.
Yep.
Dude, move. Oh my fucking God. Like you're just standing there eating them. I don't know. Elves, I don't know. You come up against these guys who are good strikers like Joel, who are high level, and your toughness, your brawler type, isn't going to do it anymore. And you got to be more technical. And I mean, Joel Alvarez showed that. And bad pick by me. Joel Alvarez finished all over Brener. Finished Brener. Fucking, yeah, terrible pick.
That's all right though. We all have those. I had them 2 fights ago, and yours was definitely that one. But hey, what can you do? And some would say maybe this next one even was a terrible pick. I would argue it still wasn't a terrible pick. And if they fought again tomorrow, I'd still make the same pick. Mackenzie Dern loses or no wins against Lupi Godinez. Lupi was our pick. We lost that one. She lost by unanimous decision. How do you think that fight played out?
I think it's another one that should have been split. I think it was much closer than the scorecards are showing. I'm not going to lie, though. We were talking so much about Mackenzie on the feet in the video.
Striking. Yep.
Her striking looked pretty decent. This one, you can
Yep.
definitely tell she's made improvements. She's taking it serious. She looked in phenomenal shape coming into this one. She was cut up. I mean, Luby didn't fight bad. I mean, she kind of got worked a tiny bit. I mean, Mackenzie had a good throw. I mean, that's what she's known for, is those great tosses. She's got good control on the ground. I mean, we were focusing on Lupi's fight with Verna going long, and you said afterwards Mackenzie beat her. I think we just kind of swept that under the rug a little bit too much. Mackenzie looked good, man. Mackenzie looked good. I think it was a much closer fight than unanimous, though. People are gonna look at the unanimous and be like, "Oh, she outworked her." No, it's pretty. What am I looking for? Pretty competitive fight. Good fight, but yeah, Mackenzie looked good. Good for her.
Yeah, 100%. I wasn't really expecting Dern to come out and strike the way that she did. She's obviously been taking her boxing classes, been putting work in the gym and her stand up, and that showed on Saturday. She was able to stand there and trade with Loopy, which I didn't think would happen at all. And then obviously the throws, the control time. I mean, and Loopy fought well. She avoided the submission. She had some time where she was able to reverse the position and get on top of Dern, land some strikes from above, but ultimately, in the eyes of the judges, it just wasn't enough. And I kind of got that feeling going into the end of the third round, like, yeah, she's gonna need a finish here. However, it was still a very close fight. I think that Loopy's going to continue to climb her way back up in this division and still be someone that's there fighting these top level girls. But Mackenzie Dern looks like she's starting to put everything together now, which is good for her and certainly something that she needs to do in order to be champion, which I know is an ultimate goal of hers. So, or at least the expectation of hers.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, she's a prospect, right? So that's where you're trying to get to.
Yep.
But if she keeps making strides like this, based off how she looked off last fight to this fight, I think she's definitely got a shot because her striking looked worlds different than it normally does. So, this next one, the joke of the card. Did anybody think it would go differently? Whoever put money on Tony by Darce is a fucking moron. Ferguson, Chiesa, what'd you think?
This JP guy, he can be a little convincing at times. He kept preaching the Darts by Tony. So, I lost a few bucks on Tony by sub just in case. But yeah, Chiesa was my pick. I knew Chiesa was going to go in there and be the better striker, be the better all-around fighter. Tony's just so washed at this point in his career. I think he set a UFC record for the most consecutive losses now, which is 8. That's a lot of losses, and it's been many years since he's ever gotten a win. He's not the same. And then he does his whole, I'm gonna put one glove in the middle and hold on to the other. Brother, just call it. Just call it, man.
Fake retirement. Only Tony
It,
Ferguson would.
it's the yeah, let's dip the toes in the water here and partially retire. Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think the UFC will allow it. He could talk his way into maybe some. I don't know. He better not fight for no BMF or anything like that down the road. It's just chalk. Tony needs to be done.
Um. So, contrary to popular belief, I did pick Chiesa. Okay, I was just saying Tony by sub as the Darce, but I did pick Chiesa because Tony is ass. Okay, Tony's washed. Doesn't need to be here. Um. Yeah, the whole retirement thing. Put one glove and keep one glove, and then afterwards he was like, "You know what? I'm not retiring. I'm coming back." I don't know where you're gonna come back for. I heard the internet is like all over him being the one to initiate Jake in Jake's first MMA fight and Jake Paul's first MMA fight. I think that would be the biggest jokes ever because it's just pointless. Tony's washed, is what it is. He used
I
to
would
be
have to
good.
take Jake. Like you almost have to take
Oh, you
Jake.
would have to. I'm not betting on Tony Ferguson. I bet $5 on him by Darce. Worst $5 I've ever spent in my life, dude. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Good win for Chiesa. Chiesa's still not good. Chiesa's not gonna do anything in this division anymore. Uh, they're both old, but yeah, is what it is.
Is what it is. But this next fight was definitely a lot more intriguing going into it. Davison Figueiredo versus Marlon Chito Vera. Figueiredo gets the win by unanimous decision. A little bit shocking if you ask me and JP. What were your thoughts on how that fight played out?
I'm kind of upset at us for picking Cheeto. And not because he fought bad. Cheeto fought like Cheeto does. And I heard a lot of people after this fight going down like Cheeto looks like shit, Cheeto looks like that. This is what Cheeto does. This is what he looks like. And towards the end of the fight, Figgy was fading, which is why I'm upset that we picked Cheeto because this is a 3-round fight. Cheeto
Yep.
thrives in 5-rounders.
Yep.
He works you and then leans on you and then he's still in your face. Figgy dropped him, which Cheeto's never been dropped. Not even Sean could drop him, and he ate that big knee from Sean. So that's impressive. Figgy fought well, good takedowns. One thing I cannot stand that Cheeto was doing is when the dude's in full mount and you're in full guard, not full mount, when you're in full guard and he's on the ground and you're throwing these little chopping shots, these tiny elbows, just stop, bro. Just start to build your base and work back up. Especially when the dude's got good grappling. Maybe if you got one leg out and he's still trying to get into full guard or something, and you got more space to torque elbows down, sure, go ahead and throw him. But the little poppy shots on the back, just fucking scoot to the fence, rip to the fence, and try and get back up. It's just, you hate to see it, but I mean, we were hoping that Cheeto would be better on the feet, I think, and then clip him big and try and get one. But Figgy fought well. Figgy fought good.
Yeah, he fought well. You got to give credit where credit's due. You'll hear me say that a lot. I mean, I'm not going to be totally biased on this show. I don't like Figueiredo. I really don't. I also understand that Vera's a slow starter, and if this is 5 rounds, maybe it's a different story. I just thought Marlon was going to be the bigger guy and hit harder than Figgy, and that just really wasn't the case. I mean, Figueiredo did carry his power up to this division as well, even though he didn't look good against Garbrandt. He looked much better tonight against Chito Vera. So, or not tonight, but Saturday. Um, yeah, it was an interesting outcome in my head, and yeah, I should have probably understood that Figueredo is going to come in there and get the fast start. And when it goes to, a 3-round decision, it's about who did more with the time they had, right?
Hmm.
And Figueredo certainly did. So good on him.
Yeah, it was what it was. I mean, Cheeto didn't necessarily fight terrible, but just when you start slow like that and you're down a couple rounds, or it's even if it's close. Like, I don't know what his corner was saying to him. I don't know if they've told him he's up or down, but even if it's close, that third round, you got to sprint. Like, you got to put it all out there, put yourself in vulnerable positions to possibly land a big shot or something. So, next one, first part of the lock, my lock of the night, Shara Magomedov versus Mikhail Oljek.
Hey, this one was a good fight. It was a good fight. I knew Shara was gonna have a lot of success because I knew this fight was gonna stay standing. However, the one place I did put a decent amount of money was Shara by decision, which hit. I was happy about it. However, I'm not too happy about it from Shara's point of view. I think you need to go out there against a guy like this in Abu Dhabi and get a freaking finish, get a KO, continue to build this hype that you have around you, right? That's how you're going to get to fight for the belt or, fight these top ranked guys. Going out there and beating this guy by decision, it's great and all, but it's just unimpressive. It really is. He's got to get a little bit more aggressive, kind of like you said in the last fight, and go out and search for these finishes. I'm tired of these guys just sitting back, point fighting, and then, thinking that that's going to propel them to the top of the division. It's not. He's fun to watch. I like the guy. I'm cheering for him every time he fights. But we got to start getting some of these bums out of there quick, Shara. What are we doing?
Yeah, I agree 100%. One thing that pissed me off is you are getting not ragdolled, but you're clearly getting outworked in the grappling against a guy who is horrendous at that division at grappling. He is fucking terrible. Mikhail Oljek is not a good grappler. He's been finished by sub by guys who are so bad at grappling, and Char's getting worked. If you ask me, Chara won. Don't get me wrong. Love Chara. Love One-Eyed Willie. He's hit for me as a lock twice now.
Yep.
Kind of got fraud checked a little bit. And people were saying it with the Trockley fight. I mean, Trockley Broccoli almost beat you. Eat your broccoli type shit. He still knocked him out. Didn't knock out Mikhail. Took him long. And I feel like he should have. Mikhail basically got his arm broke by Kevin Holland like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Something like that. You got to get this guy the fuck out of here. And Chara just kind of goes backwards a little too much on the feet. He was getting clipped up. Trockley clipped him a couple times. And then the grappling got exposed. So, I mean, keep an eye because they're going to try and build Chara up. Keep an eye on who he fights, man, because I don't want to say fraud check, but it was close. I wasn't a big fan of him not being able to get him out of there, and the grappling was just terrible, but don't matter. Lock hit. 6-0, baby. Let's move it up.
Yeah, I mean, real quick on that point, I was telling one of our subscribers, Max Fat Stacks, on
Hey, fatty
Saturday,
stacks, baby.
keep an eye out for Shar getting fraud checked by a good grappler. It's coming,
Yeah.
and a lot of people won't necessarily see it coming. They'll see the record, they'll see the hype, and the line will be big. All of a sudden, he'll get into a brawl where he's get taken down, and he's unable to get back to his feet. He relies on those kicks, like punches. He throws so many damn kicks, which is why he looks very dominant in these striking battles, right? However, his
Naked
grappling
kicks.
is not good. It's not good. He'll get taken down eventually, maybe submitted or just held down on the ground for the 3 round stint of the fight and lose by decision. Keep an eye out for Shara. This one's going to be dangerous moving forward. Please understand his matchup before putting money on him.
I mean, if he fights a guy like Jack Hermanson right now, I mean, a Joe Pyfer situation all over again. I think Jack Hermanson beats him. And
Right.
there goes the hype. So
Grinder that can wrestle. Yep.
yeah, you got to do something about that. Like that's got to be addressed. If him and his team are not addressing that right now, that will 1,000% be his downfall.
Well, it's also too like the cardio. He doesn't have great cardio. I mean, kicking that much exhausts the guy. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you saw it in the Chalkley fight. You saw it in the fight before. He's starting to get tired. And yeah, the strikes are cool. It's fun. He's winning. But one of these times, that's going to all catch up to him, and it's not going to be pretty. And a big underdog, I feel like, is going to end up winning against Shar. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
All right, next fight we did have Umar Nurmagomedov beating Corey Sandhagen by unanimous decision.
Yeah, pretty accurate how me and you thought it was gonna go. I thought Umar would be able to get him out of there with a sub. I thought it was going perfect. I was like 3rd round submission. I called it perfect. I will hand it to Corey. He did a great job in the scrambles and getting Umar off of him. He almost got pulled. That one position where Corey was sitting on his chest the whole time. I mean that they got in that position like 6 times.
Yep.
And Corey was able to get out of it. He did a good job. People are like, oh, Corey didn't look like Corey. Corey's striking was bad. I mean, you're fighting a guy who's going to fucking take you down every 2 seconds if you're sloppy in your stand up. So that's something that's on your mind 24/7. So yeah, your striking's going to look a little different. And then Umar
Yep.
had the balls to stand and strike with him. I wasn't happy with it because I wanted him to level change a little bit more, try and get that sub. But I mean, he looked good. He struck with him. Unanimous decision. Dominant, I guess, but it's not like he beat the shit out of him, you know? Like it was competitive. Sure, it was dominant because of takedowns, but good win for Umar. Stays undefeated. Possible title challenger if Merab wins, which he won't. But if he does, I think Umar and Merab. But yeah, good win.
No, 1,000%. I think winner of that fight gets the title shot, right? I mean, Corey was the number 2 guy in the division going into this fight, and Umar made quick work of him. Not quick work, they went all 5 rounds, but I didn't feel like it was ever swinging in Corey's favor. I don't know if you saw JP, but these people on Twitter, dude, or X, I cannot stand
X.
popping up on the TV screen. Oh, I've got it 2-2 going into the 5th. Sandhagen's looking sharp. Where are we getting this from, brother? Umar took his back in all 5 rounds. He had back control. The submission threat was there. He looked good on his feet. The takedowns were there. I don't know who these people are or these wannabe judges at home, but stop using Twitter to express your
Yeah,
thoughts. It's annoying as hell to see up on the screen when,
they're
I mean,
idiots.
we know how the fight's going. Like, I don't know who gave you the authority to judge a fight like that because you got it wrong, and it's just embarrassing.
They're
So,
the
uh,
same type of people that boo in the stadium when they start grappling.
yeah,
So they have no idea
bun-
what they're looking
bunch of Twitter fingers out there, man.
at.
So, yeah, that kind of pissed me off. But Umar, yeah, called that, lock it up, bingo, bango, lock hit. My basic parlay hit with Jai Herbert, Umar, and Shara. We were rolling money wise, bets wise. We were rolling. Obviously, we didn't get a perfect card, but that's coming. Mark my words,
Oh, we're just
that's
making
coming.
y'all wait for it. We're making y'all wait for it. Okay, we're teasing you a little bit. Yeah, locks hit 5-1, 6-0. I mean, run it up. You trying to make money? You're parlaying the locks every card. Brevin's basic hit. We had a big prop hit. Juicer did the opposite of hit, and all of them didn't hit. Okay, so hopefully he
But
didn't back the juicer. But
the OVEV, let's go
Obi
back to class.
Evie,
Raise your hands.
raise your hands. Okay, everybody sit down. Quiet down, children. Sit down. OVEV, and we told y'all, and it hit. That one hit for big money, baby. But yeah, overall not too bad. 7-6, 8-5. Haven't gone negative yet on a card. Just saying. So we will update you guys in the future with another TikTok of our records. We're gonna keep totaling those up. Perfect card. Don't worry, it's coming one of these times. We'll have to see, but yeah, man. Overall, not a bad card. A lot of decisions, but good fights.
Good fights. Hey, if you guys have made it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you hit that download and give us a follow as well. We really appreciate it. And also leave a comment. If you guys have topics that you want us to discuss on the show, make sure you leave a comment. We'll talk about it in the following video, addressing your questions. But overall, we continue to appreciate your support so much. Let's get us to 60 subscribers this week, guys. We surpassed 50 last week. That was huge. Let's get to 60. And don't forget, tell your friends about us. Tell your family about us. Just don't tell your mothers because we're your mom's favorite MMA guys. That's for damn sure. But JP, with that, take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, another successful week. Another big hits for our bets. Yeah, like we said, 50 subs. Now we can do live streams. So we'll see which one we want to do it on. We'll have to have you guys out and watch a fight with us on a live stream and get a little rowdy. See how we react when one of these big props hit. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Bingo bango, baby. Peace.